What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Florida Prison Talk. I'm your host, Easy Win. I apologize for this week. I was supposed to do like 2 uploads. I did one upload with the girl Heather Menendez on Lowell CI, which is one of the maximum security prisons in Florida, where they got lifers at. Just put in Lowell CI in your Google search bar. Lowell CI, Florida, Lowell. And you see a bunch of stuff come up about corruption, inmate stabbings, inmates getting killed by guards because they were getting ready to talk about corruption, all kind of stuff in there. So I had to, I'm gonna redo that video because the sound was horrible. I didn't like the sound quality or nothing about it, so I took it down. I think I had like 167 views and then I took it down. I ordered a bunch of stuff this week where the sound and everything is gonna be way better. I got some fire content coming. I got my boy Jimmy Williams coming. He did 17 years from age 17 to like age 34 or age 16 to 33. He did a long time, and he went through Brevard Jit camp. I think he might have went through Indian River, but I'm gonna do 3 parts to Jimmy's interview. 3 parts. The first part is gonna be Jit camp only. This man has a story to tell. He already told me he's an open book. I can ask him anything I want to ask him. It's not a problem. He said, anything you want to ask me, I'm an open book. And I've been around other guys that's been locked up with him that talks about how solid he was. That's telling me stories about stuff about that, you know? And yeah, very solid dude. Went there as a kid, man, 16, 17, to do 17 years. So he knows a lot about the JIT camps. He knows a lot about fighter check-in. He knows a lot about people breaking it off. All of that stuff. He knows a lot about, a couple of questions I'm going to ask Jimmy is, how was the gangs when he went in? Because he must have went in like maybe 2001 or 2002 or something like that. Maybe in that area. So it was way back there. I'm going to ask him, what is the difference between when he went in prison and then when he was getting ready to get out? What changed, you know? And but this man has a story to tell. It's going to be this week. You guys are going to want to tune into this one. It's going to be another great interview. Like I said, I'm doing 3 parts. One whole part I'm doing JIT camp. The second part I'm doing JIT camp to adult prison. And the third part I'm doing his transitioning when he was getting ready to come home. I'm going to ask him, when did it come to his mind to let me straighten up and stop getting in trouble and do this time and get on home? I'm going to ask him, when did he mature in the Department of Corrections where, let me stop getting in trouble and fighting and stuff. I need to get on home. So those are the kind of questions I'm going to be asking Jimmy. But Jimmy's going to be an interview you guys are going to want to be tuned into. He's going to speak on Brevard Jit Camp, Brevard CI Jit Camp, and Indian River also. I've been to Indian River to see my stepbrother back in '97. He was in the box all the time. All the letters that they were sending him was about fighting. I'm trying to get him to do one, but he's in Georgia now. And I tried to use Skype or Zoom one time. I did an interview with it. When I got on uploading it, it had no sound. You couldn't hear nothing. But my brother has been through them JIT camps also. He was born in like 77, so he went through JIT camps way back then. Like, I went to see him in Indian River up in Vero Beach personally. And when I was in the visitor room, you can see all of I'm trying to remember right. When I was in the visitor room or wherever I was at checking in and getting into it to see him, you could see the inmates going to different programs, it looked like, through the window. And there was a lot of them, man. I look back, they were so young, man. And he stayed fighting. He stayed in the box. He was already a fighter before he went there. So a lot of these interviews I'm lined up, it's not going to be hard for me because I live around everybody that's been to JIT camp. Every street in my hood, 1 or 2 people has been to JIT camp. So it's not hard for me to find the interviews. It's just hard for me to get everybody lined up right and get everybody in place where I need them to be at. I have interviews for days. I'm never going to run out of interviews. Never going to run out of interviews. But make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. Listen up real quick. I want to tell y'all a story, man, about when I was in Afghanistan with the Marine Corps. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story, man, about a close call I had. I'm going to get into my incarceration story also as my page builds. My story is very different from any other story you probably have heard. It's just different. But let me get into this story. When I was with the Marine Corps, I was with 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marine Division in Afghanistan. And usually when you arrive in Afghanistan, you usually arrive at Bagram Airfield. They call it BAF. It's kind of like I guess you can call it a reception center. It's basically where all the military goes, where they check in at. and then they go to the different FOBs. Then they go to different forward operating bases, you know. And let me tell you a story. No matter where Marines are at in the world, we usually know how to find liquor. We're gonna find the alcohol. It's just a fact. We usually know where to find the alcohol at. That's a fact. So when I got to Afghanistan, we was replacing 3-3. Yeah, we were replacing 3-3, 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marine Division. I was 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marine Division. So when you replace a unit, you have to shadow them for a certain amount of time. They tell you what's what, who's who, where to go to get this, where to go to get that. But my job was basically I dealt with the jingle trucks and stuff. So I'm out there in the doggone villages every single day. For 10 months, I'm out there every single day. Rain, sleet, or snow, I'm out there. Flakjack condition 1, all of that, sappy plates, all of that. So I'm out there, every MRE's on deck. Got my own personalized Hummer. It was like checked out, but I didn't own it. And let me tell you a story. So we're gonna bring alcohol on, and I was the person bringing alcohol. So when we replaced 3-3, they told me how to get the alcohol, and they told me where to get the alcohol from. So I'm already on game. Okay, boom. Then they left. They went back to Hawaii. I was stationed in Hawaii. They went back to Hawaii. So now we taking over. So I'm like, I'm getting some alcohol. No matter where Marines at in the world, we're gonna drink. I don't care if we're in the North Pole. We're gonna drink. So I'm bringing alcohol on as the months go by. I had a few close calls. One time they searched the Humvee looking for alcohol because the Mississippi National Guard was out there at that time. They was manning the gates. So they searching the Humvee and stuff. They couldn't. They wasn't finding nothing. And it's crazy how lax the security is, man. I'll get into that in another video. It's crazy how lax the security is out there, man. But like I said, I'll get into that in another video. So anyway, check this out. I'm bringing alcohol on. So I guess the MPs had got a hold of it. Because what happens out there, when you're in the villages in Afghanistan and you buying alcohol from these kids, the kids you don't buy it from, they get real mad and they'll threaten to tell on you. So if I buy a Jim Beam or Johnny Walker from one of the kids, because that's what, some of the stuff they had out there. If I buy a bottle of Jim Beam and Johnny Walker from this kid and not that kid, he'll threaten to tell you, okay, I'm going to tell MPs on you. And that shit used to scare me. I ain't going to lie. Sometimes I would give him money, like, shut up, here. Give him money. They would have, like, wooden legs, man. No arms. It was a lot of, before I go on, it was a lot of kids in Afghanistan, but it seemed like it wasn't a lot of childhood out there. Those kids had to grow up fast. They would skip school a lot just to help me out. Just to help save my life, they would skip school. But they know they're going to get paid for it. And they were pretty smart, man. I'm going to be honest with you. They were pretty smart. They catch on to stuff real, real fast, man. But they were smoking cigarettes at 8 and 7 years old, Newports. And I was smoking a little at the time, too, so I would give it to them like, these are kids, man. There wasn't much I could really tell these kids, man. You know, they were really tough, and those are real projects out there. The projects here ain't shit. Out there is real projects. But let me tell you the story. So I'm bringing alcohol on base every day. I'm scared as hell, too. Every time I'm scared as hell. Sometimes I will give it to the kids to bring on. They was with all of that. They was with all of that. So I'm bringing alcohol on, and the Army MPs got wind of it. Let me boost the story up a little bit, go a little faster. The Army MPs got wind of Marines was bringing alcohol on, specifically me. I was a corporal at the time, E4, Corporal Winchester, bringing alcohol on. Echo 4 Whiskey, that was my call sign. Echo 4 Whiskey. Corporal Winchester's bringing alcohol on. So the MPs call themselves interrogating the little kids, because the little kids is who I was buying the alcohol from. So I had to report to the MP shack. I had the kids with me. Their whole plan is to interrogate the kids, to get the kids to tell that I'm bringing alcohol on. Meanwhile, they drinking alcohol also, the MPs. Damn pot calling the kettle black. As a matter of fact, I was giving alcohol to the MPs. Anyway, so they decide to interrogate the kids, right? They interrogate the kids. So they go inside of there. They go inside of the interrogation room. I'm with them. It's an Afghan detective in there, and it's an Army MP and a detective in there. Their whole plan is to question the kids. So anyway, they started questioning the kids, and the Afghan MP started talking. He's talking in Farsi or Pashto. He's talking, I think, Farsi to the kids. What he's telling the kids is that if these Marine guys are good to you, do not tell these American MPs a damn thing. Fuck them. Don't tell them nothing. Meanwhile, the American MP is sitting there. He don't know what the doggone Afghan MP is telling the kids. I found this out after. He don't know what the Afghan MP is telling the kids. But the Afghan detective is telling the kids, do not tell these Marine guys they're good to you. Tell these American MPs you don't know nothing. You don't bring no alcohol. Then then the Afghan MP detective passed it over to the American MP. Keep in mind, y'all, I'm right there in the room. So the American MP interrogates, because the kids speak English. He interrogates him. Are you bringing alcohol on for the Marines. I don't gotta say nothing. I'm just looking out into the sky like, la la la. Are you bringing alcohol on for the Marines? Them kids said, no. They all talking at the same time like this, bombarding his ear. No! Imagine 4 kids. No, we're not bringing no alcohol on for the Marines. The Marine guys are good to me. They buy watches. They take me to the chow hall. They give me money. That's how they talking. They talking in their accent. The Marine guys are very good to me. So the Army MP is still trying to get them to say something. So you mean to tell me that you don't bring these Marine guys don't buy no alcohol from you? The kids say no, they just buy watches. The Marine guys are very nice, no alcohol from me. And that was when the MP guys they let everybody go. And long story short, I never got in trouble. That was a close call. I mean, I ended up hitting the fan later on, years later, but at that time I didn't get in trouble. And they saved me, man. And after that, after they did that, I went straight to dispersing. That's where the military gets money at. Got a bunch of money out, and I paid them. I appreciate them keeping their mouth shut. They didn't say nothing or anything. They kept their mouth shut, man, because I could have easily been in trouble. And every time I seen that Afghani detective after that, we had like an unspoken language. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You might see somebody like, for example, I drive a big F-150. So when I see somebody else with an F-150, I'm like, yeah, bro. It's like that unspoken connection that I had with that guy after I seen him. You know what I'm saying? Every time I seen him after that. And after that, me and those kids were that much closer. And you would think after that, man, I would stop bringing alcohol on. Nope, I didn't stop drinking in. I kept bringing more on because I'm at the point now, my mindset is saying that they thinking it's all a fluke. This is the second time and nothing came from it. The Marine guys ain't bringing no alcohol on. They over here fighting a war. They not drinking. And that's when I started bringing more alcohol on. That's just a little story, man. I'm going to be doing stories in between like that about my time in Afghanistan, about my time in the Marine Corps, in between the prison stories, just to kill some of the monotony and stuff with the prison stories. So I'm going to be doing stories in between. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Florida Prison Talk, man. Like I said, this upcoming week, I got 2 interviews coming. I know I'm going to do Jimmy and I'm going to do Heather, as long as everything falls in place. Jimmy's is going to be on the JIT camps. I'm going to do one whole episode on JIT camps, one whole episode on the transition from JIT camps to adult camps and some of the differences, and the 3rd episode on the transitioning as far as his mindset goes when he was on his way home. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. This is another episode of Florida Prison Talk. I'm your host, Easy Win. Thanks for tuning in.